English right now is the hottest programming language in the world.
You've had a crazy journey. You were a VC, you've been an entrepreneur, you've been in Flipkart.
Young kids using a lot of these vibe coding tools and growing their apps like CalAI to $1 million a month.
Why is it called vibe coding?
The one-person company doing $1 billion, very highly possible. If a normal developer were to build this out, it would take them a lot of time.
Mid-level and junior level software developers will be eliminated. It's just blown my mind as to what's possible.
No matter what you pick up, right, you should be damn good at it.
I think the big takeaway for me is that welcome to a new kind of a podcast that we're going to do today. We're going to try and build an AI product in the next 1.5 hours. So there are two non-coders here who are going to try to do this. Of course, Vatsal is much more advanced and skillful in what he does, and quickly he'll also introduce himself. But that's what we are going to do over the next 2 hours. Thank you so much, Vatsal, for being here. It's a pleasure. I know you really well because you teach at PESA and students love attending your sessions, but you've had a crazy journey, as can be seen in your LinkedIn. You were a VC, you've been an entrepreneur, you've been in Flipkart, but better that it comes from the horse's mouth. So do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. No, thank you, Varun, for inviting me. So I run 1811 Labs. It is a generative AI product studio. We build consumer AI apps and SaaS tools. We are bootstrapped, lean team. What we do is we find interesting ideas, small problems that we want to solve, build the solutions in-house, use a lot of AI, applied AI. We don't necessarily build our own LLMs and things like that. Grow these ideas, and then we try to scale them. That's what we do. In the past, I've worked in e-commerce, a bit in venture capital, and I'm an engineer by background, but all of my experiences were on the business side of things.
What are the developments that have happened due to which today building a product has become much more democratized than what it was earlier?
Right. So I wouldn't say it's been 2-3 years, but maybe, ever since Claude Sonnet, one of Anthropic's leading AI model, became very good at coding, we have seen a lot of coding based applications come around. So the way product development has evolved over time is that, early 2000s, you had autocomplete. And then these tools are now abstracting the way we build products. You could just prompt something and it'll create a workflow. It'll start writing code. You will put in something. It'll start, adding those features, etc. And you will be able to churn something out very quickly.
Got it. So LLMs have gotten better at writing code.
Yeah.
And they're only going to get better.
Yeah.
So if I am somebody who is non-technical by training, so I don't know how to code.
Yeah.
If that is the definition. And if I want to build my own product, what are the 3 to 5 things that you feel like this kind of an audience should be learning to be able to build their own product?
Right. So, a good analogy to understand this is, even if you start a, let's say, small grocery shop or something like that, you should be able to do right from everything from, sweeping the floor to selling it to the end customer, right? So similarly, in case of tech products, even when you don't have a technical background, first things first, you should understand how tech products work in general, right? What are the building blocks? Second, understand how to use LLMs and how LLMs work.
Okay.
Right. What are APIs? What are these models? What a certain model is good at? How to access it, etc. Right. Third, once you know these two things, the most important thing is to understand how products are built. In the sense that, hey, you know tech, this LLMs, etc. But let's say you want to build out a product. It's not just a prompt. It's a concept that's inside your head, right? Hey, this is the feature. This is this. This is that. This is how it all comes together. And four, you should essentially be able to package all of these things together. And fifth, you need a lot of patience and iteration because it just won't happen in a day. Yeah. It'll take some time, but you'll get there.
Before we started this podcast, you told me this amazing line that the most used coding language in the world is going to become English.
Yeah, English right now is the hottest programming language in the world.
Yeah. So you want to elaborate on that what is happening in that world of where people speaking a language that everyone understands is being translated to a machine understanding what to build in the backend and what to code. And why is it called vibe coding? Like, why is it called vibe? Like, why is the word vibe in it?
Yeah. First, on the previous question, right? So the reason why we're calling English as the hottest programming language is because because of LLMs, we are able to code using natural language.
Yeah.
Previously, software dev, right, one of the highest paid jobs in the world, right, was such that because you needed to know a framework, a language, the syntax, and everything around that, right, that took in a lot of effort. But if you're able to abstract that using plain natural language, that just democratizes the idea of building software, right?
Yeah.
So that is why English is gonna become the hottest programming language, as Andrew Karpathy says it, right? And to the second question, right? Why is it called vibe coding, right? So when you build tools using these vibe coding tools or LLMs or a combination of these tools, what you essentially do is you plan your product and then you feed in inputs to your tool or your LLMs. You keep on feeding inputs till you see that the product is taking shape in the way that you want. You don't necessarily get into the code of it. Hey, is it right or not? Is the declaration correct or something like that, right? All of that you're not getting into. You're just vibing with it. Okay, hey, build me this, build me the auth, build me this feature, that feature, blah 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 blah. So essentially, instead of actually coding and reviewing code, etc., you are just working with an LLM, assuming that it does things correctly, vibing with it, and building out products.
While mid-level and junior level software developers will be eliminated, the importance of these extremely skilled software developers or people who will manage infrastructure, will manage scaling, will probably help AI become better with better tokenization or better larger context windows. So their importance will go up, is what we are saying.
Yeah. So anyone who can think first principles and solve tech
issues.
Yeah. Understand tech, build tech right from grounds up. No matter what the language is, etc., will become more valuable. Anyone who was an implementer, or who's just doing stuff on the surface level, their jobs are at risk.
Do you see that happening in the next couple of years, where there is an entrepreneur who just sits in, no tech team required?
So there's a very high possibility. I don't know what that upper limit is. Is it $100 million or $1 billion? I don't know the answer to that. But we see some signals today as well. So you'll see builders such as Corey Anderson building out tools which are doing, let's say, $6 million, $10 million in ARR, then scaling the studio to 3 tools, right? One-man team. Now he has 2-3 more people, etc. Young kids, 18-year-olds who are not engineers per se, but using a lot of these vibe coding tools and focusing on marketing and all, and growing their apps like Cal AI to $1 million a month.
Nice.
Right. So this is happening. The early signs are here. But the exact one-person company doing $1 billion, very highly possible. When it happens, I don't know. And what is the ceiling, I don't know. But somewhere along those lines, things are gonna happen.
Yeah, that's cool. And we'll move on to the next topic. But I just wanted to summarize this for our audience. At the end of the day, Mesa is also an education company. For our audience, I think the direction is very clear. If you are becoming a software developer, become a really good software developer who can build AI, can improve AI, or can handle infrastructure and scaling. Or go into a job where you're going deeper into product management, you're understanding user psychology, where you're understanding business, where you're becoming almost like an AI-enabled business generalist who can learn all of these things like vibe coding, understand basic database, basic technical, I would say building blocks, but also understand a lot of product management. And a combination of that along with business understanding should help you build things from scratch, whether it's for a startup, whether it's for a large company, whether it's for yourself or for your family business, right? And the third angle could be, and this is debatable, and is probably sales, where if you're going into a career, go into sales where you're so good at sales that you're that final human touch that is required to close the deal. Because as I think AI gets better, I think there will also be AI agents negotiating with AI agents. But to close the deal, I still feel there is a human that will be required, because if everything becomes mechanical, then why do humans exist? And I don't think we can kill our own reason for existence. So I think maybe those 3 are directions that our audience should pursue. No, but this is
I mean, no matter what you pick up, right, you should be damn good at it, and you should have depth right now, because you just can't float on the surface layer anymore. If you want to do so, become a generalist, like you said, become a very good problem solver rather than a domain expert. Cool. Let's start off like this, right? Tell me a problem that you face, because each product should solve a problem. It should not be a solution looking for a product.
Yeah.
Right. We'll start with a problem statement and then try to think of a solution.
Yeah.
Then think of how we can use the tools and the workflows that we know to solve it.
Okay.
Design it out and then build it out.
Okay, so let's assume I'm the user, because staying closer to the user is better, because then I can only give you feedback on the product. So because we are a growing stage company, there are a lot of ideas that come to my mind, which I don't end up recording, and I think nobody ends up following up with me back again saying, hey, here's a bucketized list of all the ideas that you had, that you wanted to execute, that you did not execute on. And I think a lot of these ideas get lost, right? Sometimes what happens is that when I'm scribbling also, I scribble an idea and I look at that idea maybe 2 weeks later and I can't even understand what that idea was, because I've just scribbled in the keywords.
Yeah.
And it does not have the ability to remind me that. So I want, maybe not going into the solution, my problem is me being able to record these ideas.
Okay.
Somebody being able to summarize these ideas for me as to what that idea was, and record my free idea. It shouldn't be an idea where I am thinking as to how I should record it, because for me to also take notes in it, I have to keep in mind that, okay, these are the 5 words that I should be using so that I remember what this idea was. So somebody else needs to listen to, it's almost as if there's a person listens to the idea, takes note of that idea, summarizes that idea, and just reminds me and follows up with me saying, hey, this was an idea I had, did you like act on it? So
more like your EA.
Maybe, I mean, that could
either
be
it's like Varun's brain dump or Varun's EA.
Yeah,
we'll call it that.
Yeah, or maybe just another version of me, right? Who's just kind of keeping these ideas in mind. So that's the problem. Let's start. Is that like a good problem to start with?
We'll pick that up, right?
Okay, okay.
Now that we are building out probably an EA for you, Varun's EA or Varun's brain dump, whatever you call it. Right? Let's just put out the user story for that and we'll go from there.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So user story is just so that our audience knows is the most accepted format in which product managers define problems and define what the user wants. Okay. So if I had to start defining user story, then I would say that as Varun, I want to be able to seamlessly capture ideas and thoughts that I might have, so that I don't need to spend too much time noting them down or writing them down, or I don't need to keep a notebook with me and I don't need to spend too much time kind of noting it down. I think that is my biggest, I would say, first user story, which is more about capture, is what I would say. My second user story is that as Varun, I would want all of these ideas and thoughts summarized for me in a succinct way, so that I can remember what the core idea was when I jog my memory or when I'm going through the list of ideas that I had. Right? So that's that, I would say, is the second one. The third is as Varun, I want these ideas and thoughts to be structured for me, so that I don't get lost, because there are some ideas which might be in marketing, there might be some ideas in product development, some ideas in operations, in program building, in curriculum. I just want them to be really well stacked up, really well segmented, so that when I actually go through these ideas, it makes a lot of sense for me. So I would say, let's given that we are building this in 1 hour, I would say that these 3 are like really big problems for me. So let's try solving these. Do you feel that that's good enough to start off with?
Sure. So just to summarize, we'll try to solve your problem of being able to capture on the go. Getting a summary of these captures and then being able to structure them into various different categories.
Correct.
All that happening seamlessly. So before we go on to build this product, let us just do a very basic overview of what any tech product looks like. At a very fundamental level, each tech product has 6 or 7 building blocks or components, right? First is your user. which is you.
Okay.
Right. Now you interact with the application on the front end. What you see, where you input your data, or where you access your outputs, etc. That is the front end. So being able to see this screen, this is the front end for us. Right. Now that data from the front end goes to the back end. Right. Back end is like the brain of your application or tool, where it is all the business logic is there, that hey, if Varun's note is coming, I need to summarize it. I need to do this. I need to categorize it. All of that happens in the backend, right? All of that data is stored in a database so that you can access it over and over again, right? And finally, all of this is hosted on a server, right? And you might as well use internal or external connectors such as APIs, which are APIs. Essentially, you have the voice note coming in, you might want to use AI to summarize it. So what you do is you pick the voice note, you send it to OpenAI, for instance, get the output back.
Got it.
So that is why an API. API is just a connector to an external service or an internal service.
Got it.
So essentially user, front end, back end, APIs, database, and hosting. So when you understand these things, this is the basics of any product which is out there. We have a basic sense of what we want to, what the idea is, how a tech product is built. Maybe now let us look at what all do we want in the product in terms of features. Let's just list down a very, very simple PRD of sorts.
Okay.
But not a PRD, it's just us listing down what we want.
Okay.
We'll pull up the notes again.
Okay.
And we'll say what all would this have, like product doc. Okay. So first of all, the product should have authentication so that only you can retrieve your data. It's not open to everyone. Right. We'll put out. There has to be a record button. Right.
This is for me to record my thoughts.
For you to record your thoughts. You should be able to view all your notes.
Okay.
Right. All your notes. Then you should be able to view this a transcript and the summary. Transcript is your note
what
as
I
it is,
said.
and the summary is the summarization of that. Right? Transcript and summary. You should also be able to see categories of the notes auto applied.
Yes.
Okay. And finally, all of this is done. Cool. In terms of UI UX, do you have any preferences, or maybe we could figure something out?
No, I think a simple listicle where I'm able to see the list of all my notes and then quickly create one note. I don't think it needs to be very complicated. In fact, I want it to be as simple as possible.
Got it. Right. So this is it. This is what the product will be.
Okay.
Nothing else. Maybe, allow folks to share the note, allow you to share the note as well. If you were to, just pick the note and share it with your team.
It with one of my teammates saying that, hey, this is an idea that I've really thought about. I feel could work.
Cool. Now, cool. So what are the flows that will come into the product? Now you have to think like that. So understand this, right? There are, I think, 3 screens here. If you were to define, one is the login screen, right? You log in via that. Second is your main dashboard screen or whatever. Since we want to make it simple, we'll show the history over there, new notes over there, and the recording button over there.
Agree.
Main app screen, right? Cool. And in terms of flows, what will happen is you record, then you see the transcript plus summary. Okay. And you can access older notes as well. Right. The reason why I'm noting all of this down is because if you're not clear with what you exactly want or what screens are there, what flows are there, you'll not be able to figure out how to prompt out or how to wipe code it out. Let's not talk about the front end, back end, etc. But let's talk about the AI part here. So there are 2 AI services in play here. One is transcription. Whatever you speak needs to be transcribed, right? So for that, we can use OpenAI's Whisper. So Whisper is an LLM which is very good at transcribing audio. Converting audio to text.
Got it.
The second part is summarizing your transcripts. Right? So for that summary, we will use OpenAI GPT-4o model. The ones that power ChatGPT.
Got it.
So it's essentially you putting the transcript to ChatGPT and getting the summary out of it. Simple as that. But we will access these 2 models via APIs.
Okay.
I will show you a flow of how we will do it as well. Right. We can just look at how the tool will work in terms of tech.
Okay.
Right. So we discussed front end, back end, APIs, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at this diagram, you will be able to figure out how it all gels up together, right? So when you click on the record button, that's on the front end, right?
Yeah.
When you complete a recording, the recording gets stored in the database.
Okay.
The file is then sent to OpenAI Whisper via an API call.
Okay.
Which is like, hey, OpenAI, I'm sending this file.
Here's the recording.
Yeah, right? Here's the recording. Can you give me the transcript? Right.
Okay.
So you see here, you give some input and parameters to OpenAI's Whisper API. It'll give you the output and you'll receive the transcript. It is again stored in database.
Okay.
Right. Now that transcript is sent to OpenAI's GPT-4o model for summarization. Input plus this, and then we get the output here.
Right.
That summary is received and stored in database, and that is displayed in addition to the transcript on the front end.
Got it.
But essentially, this is your front end, this part. This is your back end in database and APIs working together to solve the business logic that we want.
Yeah.
And all of this would be hosted on a server.
Got it.
But does this make sense?
Yeah, I think flow-wise it makes sense.
Yeah, right. So this is in essence the engine which will drive the application, right?
Okay.
I have listed down all the tools which we've been using to wipe code our tools. So we've categorized them based on the use case, right? So if you were to just write the PRD or select the stack, you could just use ChatGPT or Claude, right? If you were to build the UI and UX for this as a designer would, right? You could use Galileo AI or UiZard, something like that. If you were to just build out the front end, now you know what front end is, right? Just the screens where you see or what you see, right?
Yeah.
Without the business logic, you could probably use a v0.dev by Vatsal, another tool, right? If you were to build out the complete app with the backend, right? You could use Replit Agent, Bolt, or Lovable. There are differences as to which one you want to pick, but these are the tools, right? And let's say you were a little more advanced in the sense that, hey, I can code a little, or maybe I can take much more flexibility or in terms of what I want to do, right? You could use Cursor or Windsurf. These are the tools, right? But what we will use for our use case is Replit Agent.
Okay.
Reason for that is, given our workflow, I think this is more suited to build it out quickly.
Okay.
And second, we can also deploy it directly. We don't have to download the code and then deploy it to a server.
Correct.
So this is Replit Agent. Similar, everyone has a chart like every tool has a chart like interface, right? So build a voice notes tool that can capture voice notes. I mean, let me just make it a little better. Transcribe voice notes using OpenAI Whisper.
Oh, so you're mentioning that here itself?
Yeah. Summarize the voice notes using OpenAI GPT-4o. Maybe we could add this later. Let's just do the transcript for the first part.
Okay.
Yeah. History should be visible. Yeah, that's about it. UI, clean, minimal. Okay. Flow and screens. App screen, record, and show summary. History below. There we are. We'll just start building and we'll iterate on the go.
Okay.
So now Replit, we've not defined the tech stack here, but we'll likely pick Node.js and White. If we wanted, we could have specified, let's say for data intensive applications, you might want to do Python Flask or something like that.
Okay.
But in our case, largely it'll pick up Node.js. So, but if you're like clear on that as well, that, hey, I want to pick this, this becomes even better.
Got it. Okay.
So now it'll tell you, okay, would you like, so it'll also ask you that, hey, you want to add these features as well. Add functionality, export functionality, blah, 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 all of these search, etc. But we will add these later.
Okay. So nothing we have added, like besides the prompt.
Yeah, we'll just take it step by step. We first want to ensure that the transcription is working.
Okay.
Then we'll make the summarization working. Then we'll improve the UI.
So is this the usual format in which that you'll give a prompt to Replit? Like, is it always you start with the problem to be solved?
What do you want to solve?
The UI.
The flows or the screens,
Flows, screens.
essential features,
Yeah.
and then the UI.
Maybe, and UI and maybe the tech stack also.
Yeah, tech stack also.
Maybe.
Right. Cool. As you can see, it's built something out.
Okay.
OpenAI.
Still kind of building, huh?
And see, you'll see this thing called initial checkpoint, right? So anytime you make a mistake, you would just roll back here.
Oh, okay.
Because AI tends to make a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is, installing OpenAI.
Okay, so it's installed the OpenAI package now. Okay.
Yeah. While it is building out the application, since we need to call OpenAI, which is an external API, we need a key to access that, right?
Yeah.
So it is asking for the key here itself.
Okay.
So traditionally, you would have to build out an, env file on code and then add the key over there. They are doing it give it here itself.
Okay.
So I put down the key here.
So when just taking a step back here, if suppose there's somebody who doesn't have a key, then they will need to go to OpenAI. They will need to go to their development platform, right?
So they go to
developer platform,
API platform or whatever platform that there is, create a new key.
Yeah.
Just get that key, make sure there's enough balance, and then bring it here.
And that is free of charge.
You get, I think, $5 of free usage.
No, so creating an API key is free of charge.
Yeah.
But every hit to the API will be charged.
Yeah.
So given that, you need to probably put in $5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I have connected your OpenAI key. The voice, it's fully functional. So it's now asking us to test whether it's working or not.
Okay.
Right, so we'll just click here.
So the only thing that we have done so far in transcript is we wrote one prompt and we gave it an OpenAPI key.
Yeah.
Now we are checking whether just those two things have built us an app where we can put our voice notes and it kind of shows us the history.
Yeah.
And also it transcribes it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so we're using the OpenAPI.
We're just checking the transcription function as of now.
Okay.
Hi. Okay. Hi. I am on a podcast with Varun. Okay. There's an error. Okay. Now what you do is you take a screenshot, feed it to chat. Hey, please fix this error. Think deep. So it figured that there's an issue with one of the front-end components. So it's now fixing that. I don't think it's fixed transcription.
Okay, but now we'll have a database to at least check in the background. And where can we check the database here?
Yeah, so on the right side, you'll see database here.
Okay.
So you have 4 tables, users, users and voice notes.
Got it.
So if you open voice notes, so there's nothing stored here right now.
Got it. Okay. But now ideally when we will right now speak, there should be something that should be coming here.
Yeah. Hi, we are testing once again. Let's see if it works. Let's see if the transcription works.
So basically what has happened here is that, you spoke.
Yeah.
This audio file got, saved. This was sent to chat, OpenAI's Whisper. Whisper converted it into a transcript, sent it back.
Yeah.
But we are not able to display it.
Yeah. So we'll just ask it. I can see the transcript in the DB, but I am stuck on the, transcribing with message on the app. Can you check and fix this, please? So now we know the exact reason.
Yeah.
So the reason for us to not see the transcript could have been the OpenAI call falling.
Yeah.
Or a front-end issue.
Correct.
Now that we have attached this to a database, we can see that the data is coming. Correct. It is just not getting displayed on the front.
And that's a good learning, right?
Now it's examining the front-end code. So it has now figured out the issue. The issue is in the React query configuration, the state time infinity setting in the query client. So it's
gone deeper into that.
Yeah, it's on an infinite state. That state is. So that is why the 5th point I mentioned very early on. You need a lot of patience. Because if a normal developer were to build this out, it would take them a lot of time.
Yeah. And this is getting updated on its own, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
See, now you can see the transcription.
Yeah. And has it deployed? It's still kind of executing it.
Yeah. It'll redeploy everything and wipe everything out, and we'll see a fresh version.
Yeah. Because here we are seeing 2 right now, right?
Yeah. It's doing something.
It's doing something.
Maybe
And
that.
I think I've now started understanding where the word vibe comes from.
Yeah.
It's you're literally vibing with it.
It's just that in my mind, the mental block, the blocks are there that, hey, from this to this is happening.
Yeah.
But the actual code I haven't seen.
Yeah, correct.
And this is where the problem is, and this is where the beauty is.
Yeah. And hence when a problem happens, you don't know where the problem has happened, and then hence your job is to kind of tell the no-code platform, hey, look at this part of code.
Yeah.
Because our hypothesis is that is probably this is the part that is broken.
Yeah.
Which is what we did right now.
Exactly, right. Let's try this again. Hey, we're trying this for the 4th or 5th time. Let's see if it works or not. I hope this works. Wow, it works.
Okay, finally.
Finally, it works. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Now let's do this. Let's add summarization to this. Okay. Let's also summarize the note using OpenAI GPT-4o, right? We can show the summary below the transcript in the same widget or whatever it is. So I asked it to do just one thing. I wanted to add authentication as well, but I'll just ask it to do this.
Do this first.
We'll test it out. If it works, then we'll add authentication.
Got it.
So it's again cleaned up the database, installed everything, restarting the application. Yeah. Maybe, the next step would be to improve the UI. Okay, it's here. We'll just test it out. Okay, my favorite Nolan movies are The Interstellar, The Inception, Prestige, The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, that's about it.
So it's given a transcript. It's also given a summary.
Yeah. Now, if we want to change the style of summary, we can do that. Create a summary in bullet point style. Make it elaborate. Yeah.
Maybe we can number of words we can put down.
Use simple English. Okay, this would be short only, right? The test audios.
Yeah.
So now, while it does this, I don't like the UI right now. So what I do is I take inspiration. I maybe go to, let's say, voice notes.
So this is dribble.com. Okay.
You find a lot of design inspiration here. So voice notes ke mobile apps, there, web app. So now see, it has also done this. Now let's also make a minor improvement to the styling for the summary display in the UI.
Okay.
This is a good thing and a bad thing.
Because we don't know whether it will lead to a bug.
Yeah. Or whether, if you not wanted it, right? I am testing another voice note to see if the summary comes in bullet points. So there are 10 things that I want to close today. There are a couple of meetings. There's a couple of copies that I need to write. There are a couple of apps that I need to test. Let's see if the summary comes in bullet point style. There you go, right? So that's that. Now let's just try to improve the UI. Desktop.
So now we are going back to the screenshot that we took.
Yeah, it lost the screenshot somewhere, but let me take it again.
So this is on Dribble.
Yeah, you could just pick it up from anywhere on the internet as long as you're allowed to. I don't know about this one since we're just testing. I don't like the UI. Use the above image as a reference to redo the UI. Just a second. This looks like the Mac UI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mac like UI, left sidebar with his recent notes and categories as in the image. Show the history on the right side. The recording button can be on the bottom. Okay.
So you're also kind of described the UI a little bit, like on a high level.
At a very high level, just so that I know that it's doing right.
Yeah.
I think it's changed the UI. It looks a lot better now compared to the one which was there. The left sidebar is here, the new recording button is here, and let's test it out if it works. Testing a new note. Let's see if it works. Failed to upload voice note. So while it changed again, it probably did not update the routes or something like that.
So every time we change something, there's a chance that something will get broken.
Yeah.
So right now what happened was that we were not able to save only the audio file.
Yeah. You could also, just check the console log, right click, inspect element, and copy all of this and put it there in case the solution does not work out. So it knows that when you click on recording, this is what's going wrong.
Oh, yeah.
While I do not know what that means, but essentially it gets to know that, hey, this is the possible error. Because I don't think it has fixed the error now. So, I mean, I just looked at this again. Right? It could be related to this. It is not like previously when we saw, right? I have identified the issue.
Yeah.
It's just making an improvement, I think.
Right now, it's guessing.
Yeah. So it's done this. Let's just check. I am testing a new voice note. Let's see if it works or not. Failed to update. See, I told you.
So then we inspect.
Yeah, now I could, just tell it it's not working. But I don't think then it'll solve the problem. So what I'll do is I'll just try to create a new. Testing. Still not working. These are the logs. Please check. Think deeply. See, now it's telling you that, hey, I see the issue now.
Okay. So now it's like kind of sure.
Yeah, it's sure that, hey, there is some issue in this file or that and all. So now it's working. See.
Because all three notes have come back.
The
earlier ones also.
So it has also mentioned the issue here that it was not supporting the form data correctly, JSON something. Without the auth, everything was getting stored in the DB without associating a note to anyone.
Yeah.
As you can see here. So now it will associate a note with users as well.
Got it. Okay. So essentially what will start happening is that if there was no auth that was put down here, I would be able to see the notes of everyone who was using this app.
Yeah.
Now I'll be able to see the notes of only me as a user because now it's able to identify me uniquely as a user.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so now the login page has been created.
Yeah, we have built out the authentication. So essentially we are like completing the app.
Got it.
Not great UI, but I mean that can be changed.
But this voice notes pro and all of that,
it's written on its own.
It's created on its own. Nice. Yeah. So let's see if this actually works, right? So let's quickly log in and we can use your login to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we've been able to log into the product. Now let's see if it solves my problems, right? So
there you go.
So in marketing, one of the new ideas that we have is that we should start a AI focused podcast where we actually build products from scratch. And this podcast is for an audience which is not technical at all, which is not very, I won't say is like completely AI enabled, but is an audience that knows about AI. And the goal of this podcast is to tell this audience that product building has been completely democratized. And the way we should do this podcast is that we should get on our podcast a guest who has built AI products from scratch. And we should have them, almost unclutter the world of AI. Tell us how an AI product needs to be built and actually build it during the podcast. So that's an idea that I have. So now there's a new voice note created, and ideally we would have wanted a feature which kind of said that, okay, this is the new voice note, but this is my voice note, right? Which is essentially has taken my extremely unstructured idea.
Yeah.
Right. It has summarized it into an idea which now start making sense, because number one, it's categorized it into a new marketing idea.
Yeah.
So we can create categories here, which is new marketing idea. Yeah. The second is it's put down who the target audience is, what the podcast objective is, format. So if I had to kind of then send this note, right, there could be one more feature where I share this with our brand team and tell them, there's this idea that I have. So not only like kind of summarizing it, but also storing it, allowing me to share it in a very unstructured manner, but also storing it in a very, very structured manner. So I think there are more features that will be required.
Yeah. It's a little unpolished at this point in time. Yeah. You see the asterisks over here and all of that. You could fix that. I don't see the play button here. And there are a few loose ends here, but I mean, half an hour more and you could build out a very polished version of the current product. And a day more and you can build out a production ready product.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely fantastic. I think mind blowing. I think for me, what has happened is that it's just blown my mind as to what's possible. Yeah. I'm going to start building something tomorrow. But thank you so much, Vatsal, for being here. It was lovely going through and understanding what vibe coding is all about. I hope our audience kind of gains a lot from this and starts building, because today's youth, I think, will need to understand what vibe coding is, and they'll need to start building products from scratch. So thank you so much, and hope you enjoyed this.
Yeah.